right, time for another one. So we got the INDIO center stage, emergency rush job, go, go, go. So, and because of that, obviously I've staggered all the parts out. So, you guys have already had these for a while. I'm sure you're done with that. I know the brackets. So I'm sure you guys have already kind of got on that, but the PDF I sent probably explains everything. So I don't really need to go over that. Plus, not knowing if you did it or not, I'm going to assume you did. You don't need me to explain that. Letters, obviously you have that. So what I want to go over is the cabinet, because you guys probably either chewing through it or you might have already gone through it. But I want to make sure that even if you have, there's a couple things I want to point out for when you light it, and just keep your eye open for that. Then I'm going to go over the main box, which you guys probably will get into or might be even in the process of. So that way you'll be ready for that. So those are the two things I want to go over. So again, assuming that you got the brackets and you got the letters, everything's fine. So with that said, let's get after it. So you got your sort of main face frame and all the jigs. You got the front face, and then you have your all your tough act and everything for that. And then you'll have a piece of 3/16 tough act for the kind of reverse glow. And then you'll have your 1/2-inch pushies. And then you'll have your back frame that gives this whole thing its strength, and that's kind of how it actually mounts. And then the 063s that go on top of that. And again, beam brackets, you guys have all that figured out probably already. So with that being said, so you're just going to sort of approach this like a cabazon reverse, but because this thing is so compromised right here with literally no frame structure on the actual face because of that push through nonsense, I went ahead and broke the whole frame into two pieces. So that way you have your basically 5-inch deep cabinet, and then you have a 2-inch deep cabinet that gives the strength, and it creates that sandwich. So like when it's all said and done, you'll have your 2-inch frame, and then you're going to go ahead and rock those 5/16 riv nuts, and that puts that all together. And then once it comes time, then you're just going to do the hooky, right? You're just going to put those hooks right there, and this whole thing's going to mount up there, click, and it's going to stay. And then they're going to go around and put 5/16 from the back inside the main box. So for this guy, it's just welded up. Make sure you get everything where it's supposed to be, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we should be good to go. And then for this one, you're just going to weld up this frame, and then you're going to lords the main face after you get this welded up on the ends, and then just lords that to that face frame. You got your seam right there. And then to stabilize the flappy seams here, you've got these boys that you've done this before, because I'm thinking that this thing is going to become the handle area. When they go to lift this thing up, they'll probably be grabbing by right here, or they're going to cradle and lift from this point. So that's going to be your weak point here, just this flappy 09. So I wanted to go ahead and put that piece in there. And then also you've got your built-in seam stabilizer there. So this is going to be one big giant Lord's party. We've done this before, but so what you're going to do is Lord's in that frame, and then make sure it's clean right there, and make sure there's no extra blobs. And then when it comes time, you're just going to super Lord squish these rails up inside here, and then that'll stabilize that, and that gives it that beef. And then this will go over as far as it can over to here. So once you get that all said and done, and you have this all welded up, this bottom frame, what I want to point out on this, like I say, you might already be done with this, but what I want to point out is that make sure that you get these welded in, because this is the cap that caps off the RGB backlight, and then this becomes white through here, and then for the reverse glow, and then it starts up again. So these are going to be light seals, light baffles. So make sure those get in there, and also that's going to give that strength, because that way you can attach this frame to this flappy piece here, and that'll at least give it some body. But obviously this is going to be way compromised with this big notch cut here. So not much going on here. So we're really relying on up here and this strength here, and then we're going to be relying on, treat this thing with respect until it gets mounted to this boy. And then the back boy here is going to do all the work. So when it comes time to assemble this and you're doing the pushies, because we haven't kind of done this before, I went ahead and made this right here is going to screw directly to the top of the back frame right here, see? And then you're going to go ahead and screw the whites to the back frame. And then that's going to be where you put your LEDs. And then you're going to fill up this part here with push through, but then you can see the continuation of the push throughs here. But we also have reverse glow out the back. So this is sort of doing a double hit. But the other thing is we need to try to light this silly thing down here. So not knowing, so this is going to be where your polycarb is. So if you put LEDs right here, then great. I don't know if that's enough to fire that. You might end up putting a strip here, right? And then maybe putting a little piece of something right here that then you can fire maybe at an angle, right? You can maybe just do like something like that. And then these LEDs can fire at that. I don't know if you'll need it. So I'm just saying that when it comes time to assemble this, I know it's going to be rush. So we're going to kind of get what we get with this. But go ahead and put a strip all the way along here, but kind of bunch it up. And maybe that will be enough to kick some light over onto this guy. But then that's going to also give you white out here. So that way this chunk is white. From here to here will be white. And then you'll have your RGB glow around all here. Speaking of RGB, I didn't put any holes because I didn't know where you would end up. So you're going to probably just have to drill a hole somewhere for your quad wire, your RGB 4 wire. So you'll have to get that inside. And then I also have the 3 spots here, 1, 2, 3 for these leashes. And then you're going to push those through. Now you're going to want to make sure you get plenty because now that we're kind of done with this, and that'll take care of this. And then we're going to move on with how this actually attaches to the main frame. And then that's the next thing. So, but you're going to want to leash because you'll see that the power is right about here. So center leash will want to work its way through to here. So, this is going to be 6 feet. This is 70 some, or this is 100 feet or 100 inches. So you're going to be close to 6 feet coming from here to here. So put some good leashes on the whites for them to, make it to the middle. And then make sure that whatever quad wire RGB, give that plenty of leash too. And then it has to get through the white somehow into the back of the big box. So big box time. So I think that's it for that. So you can see where the power is going to be. You're going to have your RGB controller, the switch. This will be all out the backside. So the box is just a big 4.5-inch frame. You're getting used to this because this is very similar to like the bottom rock panels you made for the big fairground sign. So kind of similar. And then you're going to have, again, wake up the 193 rivets. And you're going to have these like structural pieces here. So just follow your numbers. It's just assemble by numbers here. You got your A for number 1. I did M for middle because B is already taken, namespace pollution. So you have top, A, middle, C, and then B for bottom. And then you just have work your way across. Left is left, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because each one of these has some kind of weird thing going. Plus, you can see where whenever we have channel letters that mount, you can see where they hit in weird spots. So you end up, catching frames, pieces. So you need to, and so that being said, all the jigs, I went ahead and modularized all of them. So you don't have to worry about actually getting one jig because you can see how many weird holes get intersected based on what letters and what panels and all that. So I went ahead and got that all cleared up for you guys too. So you can stuff, all the A's anywhere they need to be, all the tops, all the M's. So you're clear. Let's go over the lay of the land on all the parts though before we get ahead of ourselves. Now these little guys, I did forget these, so they're separate, but look out for these guys. You've got the backer panels. These will just get sanded and sent. If paint's watching this, make sure you pass it on. That, of course, this needs to be flat. It needs to be latex or whatever because it's going to be glow. So keep that in mind. All the parts for the frames, again, looking a lot like Riverside. And then 2 sets of these front and back. And then you have your power parts. We'll go over that. And then you've got your skins. Your skins will have these little reference kisses inside. That'll be for paint. Those are no Bondo. That'll be how this mounts. And it's also where the letters go. Otherwise, everything else can be Bondoed once this goes on. And then there's a couple left that come down here for the letters. So make sure they don't Bondo those up. But the rest of the 165s down here, all the Clecos can get Bondoed. So, and then on the back side, everything is good to Bondo, and we're good to go there. And then you have all your little back panels. So these so I wanted full access to be able to run all your wires, reach up in, bring, full on. I didn't think it mattered too much on the backstage side. Every stage, the backstage is very mechanical, roadie boxes, flight crates and all that. So this kind of goes with that. On the backside, don't look. It's a bunch of stuff back here. You got your aluminum, doohickeys there. And then this little guy, keep an eye out for him. This is just going to be a lens to allow for RF frequencies to enter the box. Otherwise, we're going to be putting that RF controller inside of a Faraday cage. So keep an eye out for that. I don't think, this doesn't need to be sent to diffuse. I think we can leave it. And then this will be for you guys. You guys will just stomp this 2.5 by 7.5. We already talked about that. So this right here, Riverside County, just go ahead and put it all together like you do. And again, you're just going to rivet these first, and then those go out the back. Make sure they're in the right spot, and then you're all good there. So for this, it'll be tack this in for the bottom, and also this might help with RF frequencies. So the mesh here might allow for control up through here, and then maybe this will respond to it. But if not, then that little window is where this little guy goes. You're going to shoot studs on the back of this panel, and then we're going to put that guy there. So that way this guy will actually see, so they can go back there and actually point at it, and RF frequency should get to this. So that's what that is. So keep an eye out for that. One of the things I wanted to point out was, if you can see where this right here allows for the 1/4-inch panels or the 1/4-inch plate to poke through. So this creates a flap that you don't have anything to lords to here. So those are the things that I forgot. So you're going to sandwich those little pieces. There's a top and a bottom. Those get sandwiched in between the 1/4-inch plates. So you can see where they go here. That's where that guy goes. And that's where that guy goes. 193 will get you in there. And then you can just tack that. That goes to the back. Then you can see where this is where the face panel starts right there. Let's give it like a blue color. So you can see where that starts. So other than lordsing here, this whole stretch is compromised, so it'll just be flappy. You could push on it and there's nothing to brace to. So this guy here gives you something to lords to. That's the only reason for those. That way that'll strengthen that up. Same thing here. So that panel flap starts there. You'll be able to lords there, and then you can do a ring of lords here and then continue on. And then you can see where the cutouts stop here. And then this is your first brace. So like I say, those back panel things are just to stiffen that up. So you'll just tack those in real quick. And then that gives you a face stiffener, if you will, for these flaps. That's that. You're going to tack in I have provisions for 4 power supplies. You're going to need obviously 1 for RGB. And then I'm thinking just probably need 1 more. But since we're here and we got room, I went ahead and did 4 just in case. Who knows what's going down. So I have it set up for GEs because this will be damp location. I don't think we need the Sloans in there. And then you have your switch. So from a side view, you just get those in there. You just tack them up. You got this little housing that'll be like a little housing that covers your switch. So you just bend it up and you just put a screw at the top, and then the wire will come out the bottom. So that takes care of our switch. That's where he lives. Nice, happy little switch. But otherwise, and then like I say, RGB goes there, and then he gets his own little window out to see what's going on. It's kind of cool. So hopefully that works out and it gets good RF frequency. Otherwise, these are just going to be number 10 screws to hold it all together. And then you just lords everything. These are lords faced out because you will have obviously the backer panel will cover up anything that is scribed on the face, but I have it scribed for you guys. And then you're going to go ahead and, like I say, the inline reference kisses there will be, you don't need to Bondo those. So pass that on to paint. Let's see what else we got. I think that's pretty much it for that. Like I said, it's just a box. You guys have that down pretty good. Yeah, I think that's it. So then when it comes time to assemble, so for like install purposes, remember I brought in those 1-inch by 3/8 or whatever, standoffs that we do. So I have these 4 circles or 6. I made 6, 2 extra, but you'll have those 4 puck circles. This is 3/8 through bolt, not half, but 3/8. Just trying to keep it skinny. And so then you're going to go ahead, once everything's done, you're going to poke those to the front, through bolt those through. And then that's how that whole assembly box is going to hang on that right there. Boom. And then also the 1/8-inch panel is going to hang on that as well. So here's the 1/8-inch panels. So that'll be a capture system. So they'll hang that first and it'll just hang there. And then they'll bring in their cabinet, boom, and then 5/16 reaching in, and it's going to sandwich the whole thing together. So that's for the bottom the bottom box there. And then you can see that's why I have so much openings down at the bottom, so that way they can reach in there and access all these bolts. So plenty of room in there for that. Plus then they can run wires. Basically anywhere up in here as well. Install can shoot like a flex connector out the back here and then bring that wire through, and then their first openings are here, and then they can start fishing wire, down in. So I made it available to get everything to here somehow. So like I say, Install can shoot something here and then just fish wire through. And I made sure I have plenty of plumbing options through this whole thing. So that'll be that. Plus, there's openings all through here too. So horizontally, vertically, you can run wire for days. Have fun with that. So once that's all good. And then the other thing is the top one here, just pointing out that once this is all done, you'll have these little tiny 165 kisses. Those will be where you shoot this thing on permanently as it is. Just shoot it directly to it and then touch up those screws. And then the letters then will then just sit on top and help sandwich. But the letters wouldn't be enough to hold this up there. I didn't like that. So these guys are the structural, heroes. They're the ones actually doing the work. So make sure these get on there. Now you can confer with Install what they want to lift. So that's the whole thing too, is you've got, this box by itself is going to be plenty heavy. I don't know if they'll want to shoot these screws on and get this backer on, or maybe they want the backer and the letters because it wouldn't be that heavy, but it would, or I don't know. So you'll have to confer with them. I imagine this whole system will be easy enough to do without. So I'm thinking maybe this is what gets lifted, so they can shoot these screws where they need to be. So you can see where those are on the frame. That way that 1/8 inch panel doesn't go anywhere, because you can see where the actual letter holes kind of just end up in the skin. So there's no way that this would hold up this panel just by sitting on the skin. So anyway, so just make sure that you confer with Install what they want to do. Maybe they just want the panel on there with no letters, and then take it up, put it up, and then you can just shoot the letters and start running wire. And again, that's why I did so much in the backside. This is all open, so it should be easy to wire all this up. But make sure that your leashes are long enough for like the eye to get down here and work its way across here and over to here, and then get in this area here. So make sure your leashes are all plenty long. And then again, you're just going to confer with Install how far they want this actually, all built up. And then, they can do so. But like I say, I figured the bottom will stay because they can actually lift it, because with the panel hanging down like this, there's really nothing to lift by. So, but whether or not you actually put the letters on, you can talk to them. So, but that's for the Install. So, but otherwise, I think that's it. Again, I don't know exactly where you guys are. This might all be redundant. Maybe you guys are all done. Maybe it's already installed. I don't know. So, but anyway, if it's not, I hope this helps. But otherwise, good luck. We're all counting on you. Hit me up if you have any questions.
Check